Hour of 7:30 has actually come and passed us up by a minute. I'd like to call to order this business meeting of January 21st, 2020 of District 116. Roll call, please.
Member Carter?
Here.
Member Exum?
Here.
Member Patton?
Here.
Member Pulaski?
Here.
Member Fisher is here. Vice President Hall?
Here.
And President Bennett.
Here. We do have a quorum. Are there any additions, corrections, or modifications to this evening's agenda? I don't believe so. Any others? All right. We're ready for citizen statements. We've got a lighthouse tonight. So if any citizen wishes to address the board, please fill out a goldenrod sheet and maybe give it to Kimberly tonight. Seeing that audience is light, take advantage of this opportunity to thank Austin Pontius for running the cameras for us tonight. Is Michael expected?
I honestly don't know. I'm supposed to be in council today.
Okay. Well, if he gets here, Michael Tassine will help. Seeing nobody that wishes to address the board this evening, is there anyone, I do this 3 times, is there anyone who wishes to address the board? Anyone wish to address the board? Anyone wish to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on. We do have a call for exec session tonight, and we'll read the exact language at the right time, but it will have to do with specific personnel, with collective bargaining issues, with real estate, and potential litigation. So we have several items that we need to talk about in exec session tonight. With that, a motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I almost forgot that part, sorry. We have no commendations or recognitions tonight, no public hearing, no communications. We do have an administrative report having to do with calendar discussion. Ruth Ann's favorite topic, by the way.
Yes, it is. Can I use our mine one?
Yes.
Come on. And did you mention that we're not live? Do you usually say that?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So this is very short. We have had several, well, just a couple of possible amendments that we'd like to discuss with the calendar committee. So Kim will be facilitating the calendar committee. Jean Quarter, I know, came and met with you guys. The reason I'm bringing it to you is because the 2021 calendar has already been approved, but we'd like your permission or your okay with us pulling that group together. The 2 things, and there may be more as we get them together, but the 2 things that we'd like to discuss with them are conferences. So as you guys heard in your presentation from Jean in the spring, conferences were moved up significantly. They used to be at the very end of October, almost sometimes the 29th, 30th. This year they were the first week of October. So we've had very mixed reviews about that. So I've heard from parents who specifically at the secondary level felt it was too early. There wasn't, and at the secondary level, the first week of October, you may have had 1 quiz, maybe a test. But I know there was very legitimate reasons why it was moved for this year, and we're going to continue with that model for the rest of this year. But we'd like to pull the group together. Kim is going to work with the group on a survey. We'll send a survey out to teachers, probably to parents, and try to get some input around there, because right now we are hearing very mixed. I was at a building last week, and half of the group said, oh, we really liked that it was early, and then the other half didn't. So we really want to kind of look at that a little closer. I think the rationale as to why it was moved earlier was because a lot of parents, and I went back and read through Jean's notes and watched the board meeting, parents felt like the earlier they hear if there are concerns, then they have more time to help work with the teacher to, make sure their student is doing better. The other side of that is, at the high school, if you've only had very minimal tests in the first week of October, your student can have an A when by November now they have a D. Or the end of October, they've had another quiz and another test. That A quickly went you know, from one assignment to now I've got 3 or 4 assignments entered. You know, no longer have an A, I have a C or a D. And so I think it is a very mixed point of view right now, but we want to get collect a little more data on that. The other, I think, area that we'd like to explore is the last day of school. So for this year and for 2021, the last day of school is an early dismissal, which is when schools would typically get together to work on their school improvement plans. However, we're hearing from some teachers that the last day of school, they want to be doing things like packing up their classroom or going through all of those end of the year tasks that need to be done on the last day of school. One of my concerns with having the early dismissal on the last day of school is it doesn't give the principal or the school improvement team any time to come back to the group to talk about, you know, these are our goals, these are the things we want to work on, because you're really literally having that conversation on the last day of school. In years past, early dismissal day has been the second week of May, you know, mid-May. So that gave the principal an opportunity to talk about goals, talk about progress, and then maybe have at least one more faculty meeting where you could get the group back together to say, okay, these are the things we're going to work on for next year. This is what, you know, our school improvement team is going to do in June. A lot of times we pull teams together to do some school improvement planning in the summer. So those would be the 2 biggest things that Ms. Norton is going to talk to the calendar committee about. And if there are other things that come up, we'll of course bring those to you. So this is not for the remainder of this year. We're talking 2021. Questions?
It's just,
What?
no, it works.
Oh, you got it.
Let's, just a head nod. Is it okay for them to reconvene the calendar committee?
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, I think you've got direction.
Perfect. And then my other question is commencement, 2021 commencement. So we've already had State Farm reach out to us. I looked back and I did not see a firm Memorial Day nod for 2021 commencement. I know this year we are following that same Saturday is May 23rd we have the almost at Assembly Hall. State Farm Center reserved. I just want to make sure that year it would be May 29th. Would remain with Memorial Day weekend. So we are confirming that with State Farm. They're starting a little early. So are we all still in agreement with? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll move on then. We do have a consent agenda this evening that has several items on it. And those include the minutes of the December 17th business meeting, the January 7th study session. We have bills and checks, education fund bills in the amount of $1.3 million, operations and maintenance fund bills in the amount of $162,000, bond and interest fund bills in the amount of $3.3 million, transportation and fund bills in the amount of $275,000, working cash bonds in the amount of $15,000, tort in the amount of $65,000, life safety levy in the amount of $600, payroll in the amount of $4.3 million, and Urbana adult education in the amount of $110,000. No interfund loans, various personnel items that were routine and nothing extraordinary to pick out, and also a new activity account for winter flag guard. So with that, is there any objection to any items on the consent agenda? If not, a motion to approve the consent agenda would be in order.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Exum?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President Hall?
Yes.
President Demmett?
Yes. We then move to individual action items. The first of those is gifts. Michael and Cynthia Louie donated $200 to the Urbana High School bands. Urbana Adult Education received several donations. Leon and Marianne Schmidt, $300. Anonymous, $250. Martin Etter and Eve Hardwood, $250. Leslie Philman, $100. And John and Amanda Leverett family, $125. And then the Urbana Early Childhood School received several donations as well. From Leah Bodine, $150 worth of warm mittens and warm clothing. And Catherine Madigan and Jared Lafrano, $100. Is there a motion to accept the gifts and send out thank you notes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. 12.2 is a resolution abating tax heretofore levied for the year 2019 to pay debt service on some GO bonds that were alternative revenue bonds issued in 2010. This is just paying these bonds with our sales tax revenues instead of property tax revenue. We need a motion to approve that.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. And this is, we've been doing this since they were issued, so just a continuation of past practice. This is spending money, so roll call is required.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Exum?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President Hall?
Yes.
President Demmett?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries. The next is 12.3, which is the resolution abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2019 to pay debt service on general obligation bonds, alternative revenue source bonds. Same situation, except this is the series that was issued in 2011. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Exum?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President Hall?
Yes.
President Demmett?
Yes. Motion is carried. That's the end of our action items this evening. We do have a call for a future special meeting on January 29th, which is having to do with the personnel issue at 6 p.m. So we are aware of that. We're prepared for Superintendent's Report.
Okay, so Lori is out today, or back filling her in, so Randy is sitting in for me. So this is our theater group, and I know many of you have heard this, and we've not announced it yet. We have some photos. So the UHS Theater was invited to perform on the main stage at a national theater festival. The festival is actually June 22nd through 27th. They've been awarded the International Thespian Festival produced by the Educational Theater Association for their production of The Theory of Relativity. So this is a huge award for the theater company, and I know I wanted to just recognize several of the teachers, and I have their names written down. Of course, we know Mr. Broker, Becky Park, Alyssa Pavlakis, Rachel Sassine, and Brianna Morton, who kind of work with this group. So we're super proud of our theater group, and that is a great award. They get to go to the Indiana University in Bloomington, and I think there are 10 other productions from all over the country that will get to perform on the main stage, and so our students will be doing that this June. So actually 7 schools were invited, so we're one of 7. So next, this is Diego Carrillo and Matilde Fernandez. And they represented the UHS Theater Group at the Illinois State University last week for the Illinois High School Theater Festival. On the left there, you can see Diego. He was on the stage, and Matilde worked behind the stage. They were part of the production, so congratulations to both of them. And this next picture is the whole group went to celebrate with them. So if you want to click to so that is part of our theater group. So a big shout out to all of them for the hard work that they've been doing. So they've made some huge.
Illinois Theater Fest.
Yes, that was the Illinois. Yep. Diego is a former Leal student. His mom works at Leal too. So next is Cheyenne Scott, our boys basketball team. Maybe that's where everyone is tonight, huh, Linda? Is at the at the basketball game. We had to reschedule our basketball game because of the team didn't make it in on Friday night, so they're playing basketball tonight. So that's where our crowd is. They're supporting the Tigers. This is Cheyenne Scott. She is a member of the girls basketball team, and she had a phenomenal accomplishment. She hit the 1,000 point total on last Monday. And so we're really proud of Cheyenne, and that is, it sounds like, 1,000 points is not that big of a deal, but for girls, boys too, but for girls to have 1,000 points within the span of their 4-year career is phenomenal. So congratulations to Cheyenne. I know we've I was doing a lot of tweeting this weekend, and I know I saw several of you at many of our Martin Luther King events in the community. So this is a picture of the students at the Martin Luther King Live the Dream celebration at Cranard. I know we've recognized them. I'll read their names one more time. Violet Clemens, Aaliyah Coleman, Jael Logano, Audrey Fulama, and then our alternate is Miss Demisi. So she's not on the stage, but the other 4 students are, and they're included up there with the Central and Centennial students. I did not get to go to the Unity Breakfast, but I heard their speeches were phenomenal. So I'm going to try to get copies. If anyone is interested in reading some of the speeches, I'll get copies of those. Oh, go back one more, Randy. I know the Interact Club, we didn't have any pictures from that event, but you have some. I maybe we'll show some next time. Yeah, so yesterday was the day of service at Urbana High School, and you know, we had a great representative group. We had some students from Champaign who came over for our event, thanks to Tori bringing over some of the students that she works with, and a very nice crowd. We had a lot of Rotarians. So it was.
What did they do?
So, we didn't get that added, but we did.
While you're looking that
the
up,
food
I
pantry.
heard that Channel 17 covered it
Yes,
extensively.
they did come and interview the students. Let's see, I've got the list. We stocked the UHS food pantry. We decorated and organized empathy bags for the neighborhood connections. They worked on the peace pole that is going to go in the little lot right off of Ray Street and Iowa Street. And those were them. And Rattle the Stars. Oh, yes. Yes. Good, very nice. So it was a great day of service. We had a keynote speaker, Karen Sims, came and talked about Dr. King's vision for a beloved community. So she charged us with we wrote some goals of some things that we're going to do as a beloved community here in Urbana. So that was a great activity. And next, we've not recognized our very own local hero yet. So this is public now. So, so as you guys may have heard, or you may not have heard, that Tori was selected as the 2020 local hero. Yay. So she'll be representing us at the CU Schools Foundation Gala, and Randy's going to click to the next page, April 4th. So mark your calendars. I've got little cards up here. These are going to be going out in the mail soon. We, of course, will support district tables. We will have students, as we always have. So I just wanted you to have this information early in the event you'd like to work through me with Kelly Hill to get tickets. Okay, I think that's it. And we have some FOIAs. So WCIA Paul Cicchini, copy of Chicago Tribune and ProPublica FOIA requests related to quiet and/or isolation rooms, as well as any and all related records or correspondence released as a result of the request that has been met. All logs that detail the instance when students were placed in an isolated timeout, seclusion, or any other type of confinement. That's also been met. Sarah Assen, current attendance zone boundary. Penn State School Attendance Zone Study, Historical Attendance Zone Boundary Maps for 1989-90, 99-2000, and 2009-2010, and those have both been met as well.
All right, any board reports this evening?
I had a couple things. I was at the Martin Luther King celebration Sunday night, and another shout out for Urbana's. Their chorus is just fantastic, and it's directed by our own Terry Napper, and he was putting on a fantastic show. So the music was great, and the speaker was great, and it was nice to see the Urbana students represented as well. But I think the speaker was from Chicago.
Chicago
Tabernacle, and he was a former Major League Baseball player who is now a minister up in Chicago, and gave a speech about love, which was really nice and touching. So, yeah, that was a good celebration. But also, I don't know if anybody else got this email today, but I got an email from a parent reminding everybody to take the 5 Essentials survey, which I had been neglecting all year, and it's something that I had to look up on their FAQ page to find out exactly how this is serving Urbana, but it's a survey that the Illinois State Board has sanctioned or requested or whatever that's performed by the University of Chicago. I'm looking at Kim because Kim has a lot of more information on it. But it's a survey that they send out to both parents and students, and I believe also just staff and people at the district level, asking about culture and climate and learning environment at your school. And it's really important that everybody who can answers it, because I didn't know this. It's tied to how our schools are then ranked and rated with the state board. Is that right, Kim?
That's correct. Yeah, so for parents, we definitely need over 20% in each school in order to get any results back for those schools. So the parent input is really important for it to be reflected on each school's report card. So each school needs 20% of parents to complete.
Okay.
For students and staff, they're surveyed separately, but then it would be at least 50%.
Oh, wow.
Now, for the school designation, we want to get as close to 100% of our students to complete, because we get different amounts of percentages awarded towards our total designation, and that accounts for the culture climate portion of that pie towards our designation. So,
Is a designation as a type of school or a learning environment for?
correct. So we have our schools now that.
Empower designation.
Yes, that empower designation, so we no longer have any lowest performing.
Right.
But we want to make sure that we continue to get towards commendable or exemplary status. So that's very important. So the student piece in particular, because that's part of the indicators that impact our schools' designations.
Okay.
But we definitely want to hear from our staff and our students too, and our
Okay.
parents too.
That's what the email was asking about, and they said that they needed a little bit more than 100 families still from the district to respond by Valentine's Day. And so I took the survey, and it really didn't take me very long. It was just yes, no kind of answers, or, ranking. You didn't have to actually type in anything. You could just answer the questions and then hit submit. So it took me about 10 minutes to do it, and then I realized afterwards reading, now why did I just do this? So I figured there must be other people who are asking the same questions as me, so I thought I would mention it.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Other board reports. I'm going to take a second to talk about the fact that I accompanied a little over 60 Urbana students, a couple of uni students, out to Keystone, Colorado, for a ski trip, and I have already had positive feedback about the way that our students conducted themselves from people that wouldn't normally know about it, but the staff out at Keystone has already indicated that it was a well-behaved group, so it was a good time. Any other board reports? With that, we will adjourn to executive session. There'll be no action following it. And we have several reasons why we're meeting in exec session tonight. So I have lots of reading to do here. The first reason is the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity. Reason one. Reason two, collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or their representatives, or deliberation concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. Third, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the district. Fourth, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular district has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the district finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the closed meeting minutes. Those are our reasons for meeting in closed session tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn to closed session?
Second.
I should say move to adjourn to executive session, not closed. Same thing, but technically it's executive. Roll call, please.
Member Carter?
Yes.
Member Exum?
Yes.
Member Patton?
Yes.
Member Pulaski?
Yes.
Member Fisher votes yes. Vice President Hall and President Demmett.
Yes.
Yes. We are moving then to closed session. Just to remind again, there will be no action following.